that the lost generation is the next generation of kids. But actually, I realized, as I was a kid, I always wanted to be a teacher. That was always my dream. I just wanted to teach. I got out of school in the 10th grade, dropped out, I was bored, and then started to get into entrepreneurship and started to learn about myself and what I was interested in and what I like to do. I did a lot of business stuff and learned a lot of things, but ultimately I found myself playing video games and enjoying video games. And it wasn't until I was playing the games with my kids and my wife actually brought up to me that I should turn that into a business. And I started to think, what if it was a business? Now, I'm on speech right now. I've never written a speech and read the speech. But I'm going to try it because I've been given quite a bit of time. But when I started thinking about it, I looked at my kids, and my kids have learned at such a rapid pace. And I attribute most of that to gaming. I know that I tried my best to teach them, but what I really learned is that they had such an incentive while playing games to learn. Their brains were open, wide open to new ideas and new concepts. So I want to ask you something. Why do we keep trying to get kids to care about education when they're already spending 6, 7, or 8 hours a day locked in, learning systems, strategy, teamwork, communication, all in games? And we keep calling them disengaged. They're not really disengaged. They're just not in our system. 98% of the next generation plays video games. Here's what happened. Education tried to build games. Tried to build education and didn't know what to teach. So now we've got two worlds that don't really talk to each other. While the kids moving between both of them, they move between both of them every day. And somehow we still think the kid is the problem. So we stop trying to fix education. We stop trying to force gaming into something it's not. And we ask a different question. What if we just met them where they already are? At UEL, we don't teach gaming. We take what they already love, and we wrap real-world skills around it. Kids come in for competition, but what they're actually doing is building PCs, understanding hardware, learning software, working with AI, producing content, communicating in teams, assessing what types of jobs work for them, and assessing soft skills and leadership skills, as well as much more. They don't even realize they're learning, but they're learning faster than any classroom can keep up with. I forgot I had slides. There's a couple of them. Cool? I don't even know what they are, but I got a great team. So, we're not building this at a surface level. We're bringing leadership from the highest of levels into this. People have built places like IBM to make sure it's not just engagement, it's real preparation for what's coming next. So when people look at what we're doing, they say, oh, that's esports. No, this is workforce development. It just doesn't look like what you're used to seeing. What looks like a kid gaming is actually problem solving, decision making under pressure, collaboration, digital literacy, content creation, technical skill building, entrepreneurship, branding, leadership, and management. We're not asking them to prepare for the future. We're building the future inside of what they already do. And here's why it works. Because we don't change the behavior, we just redirect it. Cities want engagement, schools want retention, employers want talent, and we align all three. We bring them in through camps, and we keep them through after-school programming, and we retain them through competition, and then we graduate them with real-life, usable skills. The next workforce is already here. They're organized, they're strategic, they're learning every single day. Just not in your system. We didn't build something new. We just built a bridge to what already exists. So if this resonates, if you believe that the next workforce is already here, then the question becomes simple. What does it take to actually make this work? It takes three things. First is access. We need partners on the ground, schools, cities, workforce boards, who are willing to meet kids where they already are and give them a place to plug in. Second is infrastructure. This isn't just a program, it's an ecosystem. We're building camps as the entry point, after-school programs for consistency, competitive leagues for retention, and real skill pathways tied to teaching AI and digital careers. And the third is we need belief. Because what we're doing doesn't look like traditional education, and it doesn't look like traditional workforce development. But that's the point. We're not asking the kids to change. We're asking the systems to catch up. So if you're a city, we can activate your youth. If you're in education, we can retain your students. If you're in workforce, we can build your pipeline. We don't need to convince the next generation to engage because they're already engaged. We just need the right people in the room to help us build that bridge. Let me tell you what this actually looks like when a kid comes into our camp. A student comes in and says, I like playing video games. It's usually the first thing they say. Not, I want to be an engineer, or I want to work in logistics, I want to be a producer, a designer, a cybersecurity analyst, a project manager, or a pilot. Just, I like games. And that's where most systems stop. They see the controller, but we see an assessment. Because when the student sits down, we're not only watching whether they win, we're watching how they think. We're watching what kind of pressure they can handle. We're watching whether they lead quietly, communicate clearly, adjust fast, solve problems, support teammates, manage frustration, and learn from failure. This is workforce data. They just happen to be wearing a headset. In our curriculum, every genre teaches us something different. So when a student is playing a fighting game, we're watching their timing, their memorization, and their pattern recognition, emotional control. Can they stay calm after losing? Can they read what's coming next? Can they counter without panicking? That connects to negotiation, mediation, stock trading, coaching, counseling, and project management. Because sometimes the job isn't about having the fastest hands. Sometimes it's about not falling apart when pressure walks into the room. Then we move on to sports games. Now we're watching leadership. Do they pass or force the shot? Do they understand roles? Do they communicate? Can they make the right call when the whole team is looking at them? That translates into operations management, team leadership, education, event planning, and sports analysis. A good sports gamer is often not just a player. They may be a coach in disguise. They may be a manager in disguise. And they may be the kid who finally realizes, I do know how to lead. They just never had the classroom that helps them show it. Clearly, I'm passionate about this. Now, we move on to racing games. We're measuring precision, control, anticipation, risk, speed, timing, and trajectory. That connects to logistics and transportation, urban planning, architecture, engineering, professional driving, or even performance psychology. Because a racing game is not about going fast. It's about knowing when not to go fast. It's about maturity, judgment. That's workforce readiness in motion. Then we move on to strategy games and we find the players, the resource managers, the system thinkers, the students who can see 3 moves ahead. They may not be the loudest in the room, but they understand the map. They understand trade-offs. They understand long-term planning. That connects to financial planning, economics, defense analysis. Businesses, consulting, software development, teaching, and entrepreneurship. UEL's curriculum is built around translating those genres into skills in real professional competencies and ultimately into an end-gamer score that reflects overall proficiency. So imagine a student on day 1, they think they're just playing, but by day 3, they're building PCs. By day 5, they're learning branding. By day 7, they're producing content. By day 9, they're helping run a broadcast. And on the final day, they're standing in front of parents and teachers, funders, and community leaders, explaining what they've built. This isn't just a camp, it's a workforce lab, it's a confidence engine, it's a bridge. And the most powerful part is we don't have to engage them to connect. They already are.